following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Best worst case scenarios in the AFC South this year. Starting out with the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, obviously, with the big move to get Julio Jones to come in, and now they have two legitimate threats on the outside between Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. We expect Ryan Tannehill's not really going to, he's going to continue to be serviceable. I wouldn't say he's great, but he's serviceable. And then, of course, Derrick Henry is going to be running over people all year long. The Tennessee Titans have a real chance to win this division, and they should win it by a game or two.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but best case scenario for the Tennessee Titans, wrath of the Titans.
That's right. The wrath of the Titans. The big question is, can they overcome the loss of Arthur Smith?
That's what, if anything scares me, it's that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the defense. I think you overpaid Bud Dupree. I don't necessarily love the defense, but it's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
When you have A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, who I think are two of the 12 best receivers in the NFL, Bud Dupree's going to be able to get after quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I still love Jeffrey Simmons up front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in love with the secondary. I'm in like with it. Kind of all hinges on Caleb Farley for me.
I would agree with that. I think you're putting a lot of eggs into that basket. Hoping that Caleb Farley doesn't have any injury issues or any recurring things from the back surgery that he had. You're putting a lot of eggs into that basket. So, other than that, Christian Fulton, he's pretty good, but he's not a superstar.
He's a slot guy.
Right.
That's all he is. My thing with Tennessee is that you're hinging on a lot of people to be better than I think they are.
Okay.
I thought Farley was a little overhyped coming into the draft, and it bore itself out.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't all the injury that pushed him down. And I don't love Bud Dupree, but at the end of the day, you're going to be able to run the ball. You have two really good wide receivers. I'm just really curious to see how much of a step back Tannehill takes without Arthur Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur Smith's the mad scientist that made this whole offense work because he put Tannehill in the best position to succeed. And I don't know that that's going to continue to happen to the same level. I think it will still be good.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know that it will be as good. I think very highly of Arthur Smith.
But promoting from within, like they did with the offensive coordinator position, promoting Todd Downey from the tight ends coach, I expect he is going to run that Arthur Smith system.
It's not the system.
Okay. It's not the system.
It's not. Arthur Smith is, I think, one of the 8 smartest offensive guys in the NFL.
Okay.
There's going to be a step back in day-to-day play calling, all of the things. There's just no way that there's not. The chances that you have another guy that smart on your staff are very slim. So there's going to be a regression. It's just a question of how much does it regress. There's a reason that damn near every team with an opening wanted to talk to Arthur Smith.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a question of how much does it regress. And I don't think it's going to be much. I think they're actually going to be a better passing offense than they were last year.
I do too.
Julio Jones to Corey Davis. You took a step forward. It's not as much of a step as everybody thinks it is. I don't think Julio Jones is that much better than Corey Davis right now. Injury prone.
Right.
32 years old. And he was very much Julio Jones was never a route tactician anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He was just freak athletic. Well, that's not going to age particularly well. So I understand why you did it. I think it will be fine. I have some hesitations.
Best case scenario, though, Derrick Henry runs for another 2,000 yards. You're able to have that, Ryan Tannehill still be super efficient. His efficiency numbers the last year and a half are just insane. Efficiency-wise, there are stats that say he's better than Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
because he keeps it within himself.
Right.
They don't ask him to do much. Mm-hmm. He's mobile. He's very good. Very good play action passer. One of the best play action passers in the league.
Right.
So, it's just a question of, did Arthur Smith make Ryan Tannehill, or did he? I don't even know the phrase. Did he figure something out getting away from Adam Gase? Right. Or was Adam Gase just absolutely the problem?
And your answer would be?
I don't think it's all Adam Gase. I don't think Ryan Tannehill's this guy. I think it helps that you've had two very good receivers, mm-hmm. a good tight end, mm-hmm. a running back that just is obliterating the league, and I think all of those things have played into your favor. Now, here's the thing: you still have all of that. It's just a question of, how does Todd Downing move you forward?
Except for the whole tight end part.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think Anthony Firkser that much worse than Jonnu Smith.
Right.
I don't. I don't think there's that huge of a drop-off. Mm-hmm. Because the tight end in that system is meant to do one thing: get into the open spot in the middle of the defense, because A.J. Brown's the guy that scares you. Now you got Julio Jones on the other side that scares you. And you can't not stack the box because they got Derrick Henry back there. Mm-hmm. So you put 5 or 6 in the box, and they're going to eat you alive. It's what Jacksonville does constantly. Mm-hmm. Which is why Derrick Henry eats them alive on a frequent basis.
Worst case scenario for the Tennessee Titans. Remember the Titans? We're going with movie themes here.
Oh, well.
You changed it.
I did. You never said it, but I've already done it. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Oh, okay.
My fear is that Todd Downing will be fine. I think he'll be serviceable as an offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the Microsoft theory. Microsoft runs itself. You could jump in as any idiot could run that company for about 18 months, and nobody would notice the difference. But then, when you start making decisions and your decisions start coming home to roost, mm-hmm. then you would see the regression. That's going to be my fear. Because fact or fiction, is there any chance they're the 4th highest scoring offense in the league next year?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I don't think they can be.
Really?
No, I mean, look at the schedule. Look how many good defenses are on the schedule. I think that Arizona defense is going to be good. Indianapolis is good. The Jets are going to be improved. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville is going to be improved. Then you go Buffalo, Kansas City, Indianapolis again, the Rams. That New Orleans defense people seem to buy into. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily one of them, but New England, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Miami. That's like, I think I just said 8 of the 10 best defenses in the NFL.
There are quite a few of them, yeah.
So I just don't think you're that. I also don't necessarily think defensively you're going to be bottom quarter of the league. I think you're middle of the league. Mm-hmm. I'd say you're back into the top 10 offensively, middle of the road defensively, and I think that's probably good enough. Worst case scenario, I think their worst case is probably 10-7.
I would say that's
because you're going to beat the Jets, you're going to beat Jacksonville twice, you're going to beat Houston twice. Mm-hmm. I would say you beat New Orleans. I would say you beat New England. That Pittsburgh game is hard for me to say you're going to win. I would say you're going to split with San Francisco and Miami, split with Arizona, Seattle. I don't see a path that's less than 9. And even that's I'm picking nits to the highest extreme.
Right.
I would say this team finishes 10-7 to 12-5.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to win the division, but they could.
I think they could definitely win this division.
I did.
Their offense is so much better, I believe, than Indianapolis's offense. That's the difference maker. I have come around on this. I tried to, get on the Indianapolis Colts bandwagon. I would love to have seen them get somebody, get another target for Carson Wentz. But as it lays right now on paper, to me, Tennessee is at the top of this division.
It's them and it's them and the Colts.
Yes.
There is a huge line of demarcation between those teams and everybody else. So
there's no doubt about that. But worst case scenario, Arthur Smith's absence affects Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill and the passing game not being clicking on all cylinders, that will affect
I think there's a
Derrick
regression
Henry.
back to what they were 2 years ago, not what they were last year.
And on the defensive side of the ball, you still can't get to the quarterback.
And I would say and I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth here. I think the offense regresses to what it was 2 years ago. I think the defense improves to what it was 2 years ago. And, that team was 9-7.
Yeah.
I think this team will be 10-7, 11-6, 12-5, somewhere right in there.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with you on all accounts, but all in all, I think it's going to be a hell of a successful season for the Tennessee Titans. And this is a team that you just don't want to match up against because they can beat you in so many ways.
Well, you get 4 wins for being clinically alive. Those are called the Texans and the Jaguars.
Right. Such is the glory of being in the AFC South. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we are live in the Wicked Weed studio. Don't forget to check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different.